My name is Mrs. Jagger. The book I'm going to tell you about today is Everything I Know About You by Barbara D. Here's what the book says about itself. Talia, Tally, Martin knows her upcoming class trip to Washington, D.C. is going to be a nightmare. To foster 7th grade unity, the teachers have assigned Tally and her best friends, Sonnet and Caleb, aka Spider, to share hotel rooms with their enemies. But the 3-day trip is full of surprises. Alliances are made and broken, and Tally makes an uneasy peace with her roommate, head clone girl Ava Seeley. Soon, Tally begins to suspect something is off with Ava, who keeps a weird notebook full of random numbers, disappears regularly, and doesn't seem to be eating anything during meals. When Tally confronts Ava about it all, Ava threatens to share an embarrassing picture of Tally with the class if she says anything to anyone about her suspicions. For the first time, Tally doesn't have an easy solution to an incredibly complex equation. This is a trip full of lessons Tally won't forget, including how to love yourself and embrace your flaws, and that being a good friend can actually mean telling a secret you promise to keep. This book is about how Tally and her friends learn that enemies are not always enemies. I'm going to read a passage from page 184 for you today. Tally, we're not in the sandbox anymore. I don't need you to protect my shovel. Shania giggled behind her hands. Protect my shovel. Must have sounded kind of crazy, even without the shouting, but it wasn't like I could start explaining. For an endless minute, Spider and I stared at each other. It was like I was watching a storm cloud pass in slow motion. As the seconds went by, I could tell he wasn't going to fall apart or have a panic attack or have trouble breathing. But he was still furious at me, and I wanted to defend myself, but I had no idea how. Especially in the hotel lobby with all these other people standing there watching. Finally, he shook his head. Can I tell you something, Tally? Every day you come to school looking completely different. Weird clothes and all that other crazy stuff you put on. But it's like no one else gets to change anything. Ever. What? What are you talking about? My voice sounded strange. Really, it didn't even sound like my own voice. That doesn't even make any... Marco is nice, okay? And I like baseball. Or at least I'm willing to give it a try. Why can't you deal with that? Fine, go ahead, I snapped. Does Marco know you're completely ignorant about the game? Or maybe you lied to him about that fact, too, so that he wouldn't think you're weird. As soon as I said this, I thought, leap. How could you say something so mean to Spider of all people? What's going on with you, Tally? Although Spider didn't even answer the question. He just crossed his arms on his chest like he was protecting himself from me, or maybe making a decision. I hope you feel better, Tally, he said quietly, and walked back into the restaurant. I picked this passage because it shows how Tally is really struggling with her friendships. I think people who have felt like they are enemies with someone should read this book, because Tally manages to deal with a difficult situation, and she ends up realizing that people can change. Thank you.